Howdy folks, good afternoon. Today is Monday, July 7th. It is 4:19 p.m. and about 29 degrees Celsius is the time. I'm here just chilling on a bench just along Bloor Street West. I see a lot of people in the chat already. Jeanette Morales, Martin Kelly, Madano, Alicia, Alfred, and everyone else. Thank you so much for tuning in. You will notice the stream is not in 4K, nor am I channel bonding. We're just doing it with Rogers in 1080p 60. Hopefully everything looks and sounds okay. Sorry if it's not up to the usual standard, but it is 29 degrees Celsius. So my phone would probably overheat in 4K conditions anyways. I just finished up recording a walk that we hatched the plan for last night on the Johnny Stumbles channel, and I finished up right at this very spot. I thought since we're here, let's do a little live stream. I don't know how long it'll be, but we're gonna get moving in a second. Alfred says, good picture. Good. I've never live streamed on this mode before, so this is a test of 1080p off of this app without my streaming server, and we're only going on one provider. Let's get up and get moving, eh? As long as it works, you're good, I'm good. Friendly reminder to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, hit the bell if you want to be notified when I go live next. Usually that's 3-4 times a week on this channel. And every Sunday night, most Sunday nights, on the Johnny Stumbles channel. We were live last night. Finished the live stream with some viewer call-ins. But rather than stick to Bloor Street here, we're gonna make a little detour and hope we don't run into connection problems along the Old Mill, which is a area with a very popular hotel and event space we'll be walking by. Janice Pike is here. Good afternoon, Janice. Let me just get my chat sorted. Come on, YouTube. Why are you playing me like that? This YouTube app is so buggy lately. It's a proper piece of garbage. Let me... I cannot get my phone to show the chat vertically. It'll only, even though I put portrait mode, and now it won't let me manually close the app. What a buggy piece of crap. But look how beautiful this area is. So I hope you're all having a good Monday so far. All I did today was get a haircut. I woke up, I had my smoothie, I exercised, I went and got a haircut. I planned a video. I went out and recorded that video. And now we're doing this stream. Janice says, hi, you're on my show a bit last night. Great. Thanks for tuning in, Janice. Andy Wood says, this is where you live. Did I just dox Andy Wood? There's some Disney World-esque homes here. Can you see the cut? Well, no, because I'm wearing a lid, but you can tell that it's cut on the sides. I'm getting attacked by bugs here. That was long overdue for a haircut. My usual stylist left the country, so I've been looking for a new one. Greetings, Chowdhury. And everyone else who's tuned in. Nearly all 200 of you. So this will spit us out onto Bloor Street again eventually. Oh, hey, look, a sidewalk has appeared on the other side of the street. Let's go have fun on the sidewalk. Very lovely area. And you're quite lucky. You literally have a subway stop right here. Go catch a Line 2 train. You're not far from the Kingsway, a retail area, but there's a much better retail area. Bloor West Village, just east of here. How much was my haircut? John Burke asking the real questions. It was $45, and if you paid in cash, you didn't have to pay tax. So I just paid $45 cash, and my tip was a tenner. So $55 in total. It also included like a wash and a little bit of a scalp massage. Not that I asked for that, but it came with it. And we're at the old mill itself. It's an absolutely beautiful property. I think they banned high schools from having their graduation proms here. My high school did back class of 99. This is where we came. But I skipped that event because it was conflicting with the girl I was dating. Her high school had an event at the same time. So I had to do that thing guys do and miss mine and go to hers. That was fun. You actually saw a picture of me in the suit going out to that in the live stream last night. Thanks, Mom, for making me show that to the world. The Old Mill Inn, Flower and Gift Shop. Steak frites, $54. Filet mignon, $55. Pricey, but not like outrageously pricey. Old Mill breakfast, $19. Steak and eggs, $42. Chowdhury, $2. Good evening, Johnny. Good evening or late afternoon, I would call this to you. Thank you for the $2. Andy Wood says you're a class of 79, but there were no proms back then. In Canada, we just call them graduation dances or ceremonies. Yeah, it's a stunning property. And oh yeah, the Blue Jays are going for 9 in a row tonight, being very battered and short man Blue Jays. They're playing the White Sox. Hannah Giotis, €2. Good afternoon from Greece. Keep doing great videos. Why, thank you so much for the support. Much appreciated, all the way from Greece. That's on my to-do list of European destinations to cover. Last year it was Belgium and the UK. The year before I did Spain and France, and the year before that I did the Netherlands. We're about to cross the Humber River. David Warren, $30. Buy your own. David Warren, holy shit, thank you. David Warren, wow. Thank you again, David Warren, as I wrestle with viewing my chat. Definitely appreciated, David. There's a lot of construction going on. That's Bobby Point, or Babby Point. We'll take a quick trip down to the river. That's the Humber River that divides Etobicoke and the old city of Toronto. And yes, Medano, I have an ice cold sparkling water in my backpack, chilling in a Yeti. And it's not going to be long before I want to crack that open. I don't think my 44-year-old knees want to contend with going down there. We'll just enjoy the view from here. Johnny, I should work for IBM Computer. They're more of a mainframe company these days, right? They sold their ThinkPad line to Lenovo. I don't know why I'd work for either of those companies, but thanks. There's the serenity of the Humber River. Nicole Morse checking in. Good afternoon to you. Have a great one yourself. All right, let's head up. I was a lazy bones yesterday. I didn't even go outside other than to pick up some lunch. My step count was pretty low. Mothman, $10. Get a few frosty ones. It's hot outside. Ooh, I am heading towards probably having dinner on a patio after this live stream, and there will definitely be a cold beverage or two. Of what variety is to be unknown, probably beer, but thank you, Mothman, for the $10. Janice says, thanks so much for the 10 spot. And seriously, your support goes a long way. Yeah, Deborah, Toronto is a city of creeks and rivers and ravines. It's harder to find a neighborhood where you can't walk to such a place than one where you can. It is a very nature-filled city in that regard. Ooh, look at the deck. Is that one house or like an apartment? That is nuts, the amount of space. They probably don't have much of a backyard though. That's probably what they get. But either way, it's a gorgeous looking property. And this street here is Old Mill Drive. So we'll follow this on up out of the neighborhood. And again, if you're just tuning in and wondering where the 4K is, we are not in 4K quality today, unfortunately. I didn't think the camera would hold up with the heat. But hopefully the picture still holds up and looks okay. Bruce says it looks very LA. Yeah, there's a sign on that park bench. Okay. Look at this. Interlocking brick. Maybe some noisy snowplows dragging along the surface there in the wintertime. Good afternoon, Marge. What did the sign say? It literally just said, "Freedom is mine." Weather is hot enough that I really have to pause to determine if it's worth the extra steps to go check something like that out. Marge, $5 late fees again. Sorry. Paul, $6.99. Thank you, Marge. Late fees aren't actually a thing, but they're definitely appreciated. And Paul, thank you for the very, very nice number, $6.99. Let me heart and like both of those. Thank you, Marge. Thank you, Paul. Little 2-for-1 action. Your support's always appreciated. We'll be up on Bloor Street in Bloor West Village in not too long. We'll enjoy some of the shade that this hood provides. Apparently Ken got some guff for, I think it was Weston he referred to as a hood in one of his videos. Hood is just short for neighborhood. Doesn't imply anything. Some people are just way too sensitive. I've had that happen too in some of my videos where I put in the title. Phantom Canuck says it's a lovely neighborhood. Mike Fami, Blue Jays going for 9 straight wins. Let's go Blue Jays. Mike, thank you, sir, for the support. And yes, I have the stream all wrapped up well before they go for 9. I think that first pitch is coming just after 7. They have to run a bit of a gauntlet. 2 of the shittiest teams in the AL. So by gauntlet, I mean not gauntlet, although the White Sox have given them trouble. And the Jays are very short-handed. They're definitely going to need a bullpen game or 2. But if they can take 4 or 5 out of these last 2 series, they're definitely not going to lose any ground. Heck, they could go 500 from here on out and might still make the playoffs. Mike Landry, hello Johnny and everyone in the chat. Mike Landry 2. This is the second incarnation of Mike Landry, and I believe he's got a walking video up on Mike Landry 2. Check that channel out. But thank you, Mike Landry, for the super chat. $3. Much appreciated, Mike. As we begin our climb up to Bloor Street, that concludes the shady, ultra nice neighborhood portion of the stream. You might recall I finished a live stream last week, just short of where I started this one. That sign says walkway to public parking. I say no shit. I'm pretty sure people could have figured that one out on their own. David Ace sent 5 channel memberships. Wow. You just get in the shade here for a second. Stein, sorry I probably got that wrong. Cutie, Quiet, IZ Kept, HB, Scott Moko, Adrian Dean. Welcome aboard to channel membership courtesy of David Ace. Thank you, David Ace, and welcome aboard to our new members. This is ranked a top 5 restaurant in the GTA. Where's your Michelin star? Used to be a big old movie theater right around the corner from here. We're approaching Jane Street, entering Bloor West Village. It'll be home to a few big street festivals later this year. One of which will be Ukrainian themed. There's where the theater used to be. Vasily checking in. Christos also checking in. Moto Yoga. Someone moving these construction pylons around. Pat 75 in the house, and we've hit 400 viewers. So we're going to make our way through Bloor West Village. I'm not sure how far we will be going. It is on the hot side, but we'll get at least an hour of streaming in. Stridarius Jonathan Esquire. Remember one day we just started streaming north up Jane, and I just kept going as far as I could till the battery ran out. That was a fun stream. That was an early one. Thank you for the kind words, David Ace. Again, we're out in Bloor West Village, which is west of downtown, slightly north, but mostly west. Gaby says there's a very nice pub coming up on the right. I think I know which one you're talking about. That's in about a block, right? Is that wind hot? No, but it's not cool either. It's definitely AC weather. The breeze you get from opening your windows will not be a pleasant one. That Krispy Kreme doesn't really look open. But you could enter Jane Station just on the left. So we'll be going past Runnymede Station, at least to High Park. Will we go to Keele or Dundas? I don't know. There's the pub with the nice patio. You can do some solid people watching. It's a really nice pub in a beautiful old building. Chad Wabagwan, $5. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but thank you. Chad, thank you so much for the support. Cheers to you. Thank you very much. As we go east in Bloor West Village, along the north side of Bloor Street West. There's that pub again. Janchenko Bakery. This is a great neighborhood. Right on the subway, lots and lots of great little retailers. To support Alicia Lewis, $10 for a cold drink afterwards from Yoshi, Alex, Sapand, and of course me. Well, thank you, Yoshi, Alex, Sapand, and me, aka Alicia Lewis. Thank you so much, Alicia. I hope you guys had a good trip to Niagara. Yumi, Japanese restaurant. Fruiteria. Body shop has left the neighborhood. I remember one morning in wintertime we were coming through here and I went to like a health food place on the stream and picked up a latte. The Cake Smith. Oh, I think there's people going in there. I'm not opposed to popping into a cafe and picking up a cold drink. There's a second cup. Looks like Yogi in the house. Yeah, we just walked by a Book City. There's some utility box art. We're getting close to Runnymede. Book City endures. Yeah, there's one at Yonge and St. Clair. There's another one on Danforth. Around Chester somewhere. There's one in this area. There's a few more. Oh, Kachia's gone. And their original location in Koreatown is gone. I think that leaves just the one in Chinatown left. Greetings, Harjot. A booster juice. If I weren't going for dinner after this stream, I would definitely Consider that. There's a Kung Fu tea. The coffee boutique. Oh, but it doesn't look like they're open. I don't see the sign. I don't see any activity in there either. The open sign is not illuminated. This is one of the great things about this city. There are countless neighborhoods like this to explore. A lot of American cities would be lucky to have a small handful of urban, walkable neighborhoods. Same with other Canadian cities too. Baka Gallery Cafe. Maybe this place. Is the ticket. Hi, would I be able to get an iced latte?
Iced latte? Yeah, of course.
I'm just pointing the camera away from you.
Oh, you're good. Small or large for that?
It's to go. Let's just do a.
Yeah,
what's the
this is what
difference?
they look like.
Let's do a large.
Large? Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. Just regular milk for that?
Yes, please.
Awesome. Large, regular milk. Anything else?
Nope, that's it.
That's going to be $7.12, please.
All right. Do you take Amex?
Yes, we do.
Awesome.
All right, let me just get that set up. Just follow the prompt, and then you can just hold your phone right here. I'll put that iced latte going. Oh, sorry, I timed out there. Can I get you to try that one more time?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. Don't mean to make you multitask like that.
Oh, it's all good. We only got 400 and some odd people watching.
All right, right on.
But I always try to support local when I do
I
these
appreciate
things.
that. Yeah. Cheers, man. It's
And
on Twitch, YouTube.
we're on YouTube.
Right on, nice.
Oh, we got 473 people.
Right on.
What's the name of this place? Baka?
Baka Gallery Cafe there. 2256 Bloor Street West.
There we go.
Yeah, we open every day till 6 p.m. Got some coffee, sandwiches, salads, all that good stuff.
Awesome. I'll be super critical of this iced coffee.
Hey, that's fine. No, that's fine. I accept the challenge.
I've never had one I didn't like, so it's a pretty
All
low
right,
bar
hopefully
with
we
me.
can keep that flow going for you. And yeah, if you got notes, just let me know. It's cool.
Well, you're the expert, not me. I'm not gonna be of any help.
Yeah. I just only know what works here and make it the best it can be.
How long has this place been here?
It's been open since 2013, I believe.
Oh, do you mind being on camera, or do you want me to?
No, it's okay. I'm not at all there.
Just so people.
Hey, hello everyone. How are you guys doing? Add another handsome face to this vlog. So just an iced latte for you.
All right.
If I knew that, I would have fixed my hair up a little bit better.
Oh, it's all good.
Great.
I set a low bar with how I look, so.
Nah, you're good, man. You're good. Let's get some more milk for you.
Well, someone said you're hot. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah? You know where I'm at now.
Hello, friendly barista. Hello, friendly barista. Someone's telling me to buy a butter tart.
Butter tart, yes. You know, we just got those in there. Apparently they won first prize at the Ontario butter tart competition of some sort.
Awesome.
Yeah. There we go. One iced latte. There you go. Just simple but delicious.
That is going to last me about 20 seconds.
Oh yeah, it's perfect. There you go. If you need straws and sugars are just on the side
Awesome.
there.
I'm gonna
I also have simple syrup on the back if you need some sweetness there.
No.
All right, man.
Trying to keep the diabetes at bay.
Yeah, I need to work on that too.
All right. Cheers. Thank you so much.
Have a good one.
You too. Thank you. All right, friendly place. We were losing a bit of connection in there. Hopefully, yeah, we're back, but I gave him a little tip. I don't normally tip when I'm standing and I order for myself, but he was super friendly and super helpful. And didn't have issue with the camera going on him, which I think adds to the stream. So often I kind of keep the camera away. Thanks, Pat75. But yeah, this iced latte does not disappoint. It 100% hits the spot. And I'm glad I went for the large. Vivian says no loud music. Yeah, that was, whenever I step into a place on a stream, that's the first thing I test. Is there loud music that's gonna ruin the stream? No loud music, just a friendly dude making fresh coffee. So yeah, Baka in Bloor West Village. There's a Popeyes, definitely worth checking out. As we look along Bloor. Yeah, I avoid anything with added sugar like the plague.
What happens when you go to jail? They clean you up. There you go. My shirt, I look like an outlaw.
Oh. Mine irritates the guys and women. That's why I gotta change.
But this is Runnymede. This is where we'll find Runnymede Station. Get the tart? No. I did not need a butter tart. But the station is just up there to the right. Someone just wanders right into the bike lane with their vehicle.
But a friendly ghost.
He's a friendly one.
Kintan Ramen. Oh, there's a map of the neighborhood. JD says, how many sugars do I like in my coffee? I used to take like 4. I am down to just 1 pack of sweetener. That is it. Sometimes I'll just do half a spoon of coffee or sugar. Someone asking, how do you pronounce Popeyes, like the Sailor Man, or Pop Eyes? Pretty sure just say Popeye, like the Sailor Man, and you're good. Canada just has their coffee black. I can't do that. I need milk and a little splash of sweetness. I couldn't quite fully make the transition to black coffee or coffee with just milk. I put a single pack of Sugar Twin in it. There's no frills. Is that it? One of them. I forget the name. It's a yellow packet of something. Sweetener equals death, says Tyler. I used to think that, but there's people that have spent their entire lives on sweetener. Aspartame came out in what, the early 80s? There's literally generations of people that have grown up on Diet Coke. There's people that have drank it their entire adult life. At this point in time, we would know if there were strong correlations between that and increased health risks. But nope, it remains used pretty much all over the world, even in Europe. So I think the one packet of sweetener I consume a day isn't gonna do shit. Well, neither would a single spoon of sugar, but I also gotta get a Diet Pop whenever I'm in the mood for a soda. But you can't go wrong with a nice latte. Espresso and milk. And Jeanette, if you're here, there's a very Canadian piece of architecture. This is a historic building, the Runnymede Public Library branch. Ours uses a 0-calorie cyclamate. Yeah, that's the ingredient in the one that I use. Harvey's, New York Fries, Tim's. So we are approaching High Park. The amount of businesses is going to thin out until we get to Kiel, and then it'll pick up again. This drink is lasting longer than I thought. Munchie Monday, 20% off edibles. Awesome. That's a very good iced latte. that place takes Amex bonus. Got my 5 times points. Popa Wheelie. Bambino fine shoes. Oh, there's a Fit 45 here. 45-minute workouts and limited energy. Speaking of which, let's see where we are step count wise. We are at 11,359. Chris Hadfield lives on the road to the right. Oh, the Canadian astronaut lives just over there. Neat. Well, if you're watching, hi, Chris Hadfield. Raw Music says you need to get out more. All right, maybe we'll cross the street and walk along the shade. High Park coming up on the right. Jays vs. Sox, 7:40. That's a late start. Well, all the people are on the other side of the street, but the nice shade is on this side. And we've been live for 53 minutes. Again, I explained earlier, if you're wondering where the 4K is on this stream, I decided not to risk it with the high temperature. And I'm also trying something different. We're streaming with just a single provider. I didn't channel bond 2 providers, which seems to be stretching out the battery life quite nicely on my phone. That's kind of what I was curious about. I can always switch over to a channel bonded stream anyways. Chicago's in the central time zone. Oh yeah, the Jays are on the road. That makes sense. Playing at the stadium that I think it's now US Cellular, but it was built as New Comiskey. And it was the last of the new stadiums before the retro stadium craze took over. It's kind of like what the Skydome would have looked like if the Jays wanted to build a purpose-built baseball stadium when it first opened. The last of the so-called modern stadiums before Camden Yards took over. And everyone wanted to copy them. Greetings, Tilt Life. JD says it's amazing these phones can keep up without a fan. Well, they do have some protections kicked in, or that kick in. Like the iPhone will dim its screen when it starts to get really hot. And you can buy little magnetic fans that attach to them, but that's no good if they're on a gimbal. That'll weigh it down. Greetings, Whippy Dude. All right, I guess we can walk to Dundas West Station. That'll make this decently long enough. We started wandering around the old mill and Humber River, and then I emerged out onto Bloor Street. We walked through Bloor West Village, popped into an awesome local cafe, had myself an iced latte. Now we continue east on Bloor Street West. I park on the right. Lisa says howdy, hi, hello, etc. A very sincere view. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights is here. It is about 29 degrees Celsius and it feels like 32 or 33. So these hot summer months are in full swing. Lisa claims her many forms of hello were in fact sincere. Apparently the cops were out busting cyclists through here recently. Even though the police have hit more people with their vehicles in this park than cyclists have, ironically, but sure, let's point the finger at them. We are here. So I think we're gonna go Kiel Station up to Dundas West Station, which will be up there. And that'll kind of be a decent stream. Cars are allowed in High Park? Yeah, stupidly they are. This NIMBY Field neighborhood cries bloody murder every time they try to restrict their access to the park. Yeah, Billy T, I didn't have a chance to do that because I didn't go there on the weekend, as pointed out in that video. Johnny is close to the speed trap camera that's been taken down 5 or 6 times. Yeah, I did a video on that. One that got quite a large amount of views on Parkside Drive. They installed a camera above the speed camera. Imagine being such a piece of shit that you take down speed cameras in routes where people have been killed by speeders. Also, you can, save 10 seconds driving on Parkside Drive? It's a pretty easy trick to beat speed cameras. You know, stick to going 10 over and not any faster. I'm not a fan of the surveillance state, like what they have in China with CCTV everywhere and facial recognition, but as far as enforcement of traffic laws go, they make a ton of sense. Red light cameras, cameras at intersections, random speed cameras. It takes away the subjective nature of enforcement by having police do it and lets them focus their resources elsewhere, since they always claim they have so little resources available. It's a very objective black and white thing, and you can still contest it and take it to court if you think it was unfair. There's really nothing to cry about at all with camera enforcement. And they're coming to streetcars. Which will be a welcome addition. Lisa says, imagine though that they haven't actually fixed this yet. I think the city pays a fixed contract to a third party to install the camera. And that third party has to maintain it, which includes repairing or replacing it. So I don't think the city actually bears any extra cost every time it's cut down. That's all built into their contract. At least that's how I understood it, based on what some random person put on Reddit as to how that works. Billy T said speed cameras don't identify the driver. Yeah, but so what? When you lend your car out, you have to take some degree of responsibility and accountability for whom you lend it to. That's the way insurance goes. If you lend your car to me and I crash it, you're going to have an accident on your record, because that's still a reflection of what kind of risk you are as an insurable risk if you're willing to lend your car out to some idiot who's going to crash it. All right, Parkside Drive on the right, Keel Street on the left. Yeah, we're just gonna keep going up to Dundas Street West. But this is the infamous Parkside Drive, which some drivers treat as a highway. Runs alongside the park. Yeah, Rudy F, I think there really should just be some kind of sensor where as soon as the speed camera is being tampered with, that would trigger the police to dispatch someone on the road to it ASAP. And usually they get cut down in the middle of night or the night. So there is bound to be a cop car cruising around the neighborhood with nothing better to do. There's definitely some kind of solution, but at least now there's a camera over it. Greetings, Doug Wolf. As we wait for the light to change, that's Keel subway station just to the north. Yeah, let's just stay on this side of the street. Game Mania. Carl Roth says people will shoot the cameras with a pellet gun now. I don't think that'll do any damage to it. That Timmy's has stood the test of time. Same with this plaza. There's probably developers clamoring for those lots. Just like where the Midas repair shop used to be, with the famous Keel wall on the other side. Carl Roth loves this area. quite a nice area. St. Joan of Arc. I don't know if anything was worked out with Mattamy to make the back wall of this condo, at least the lower part, a canvas for artists again, but that would be kind of a cool gesture if they did. You do see that in Graffiti Alley, some of the newer buildings along it have been sprinkled with artwork. Bloor by the Park Community Pantry. Billy T says only 19 states are using speed cameras. I can hear a subway train rumbling by. This is an awkwardly configured intersection. Kind of reminds me of Redpath and Yonge Street. Cabin Fever. Some great little hole-in-the-wall type places. They're open 6 p.m. till midnight. We are too early. Pinball machines. Looks pretty cool. YouTuber dude in the reflection. There's Andrea's Cookies. Great vegan food and patio vibes. They must have a patio at back. They're closed Monday and Tuesdays though. It's probably the kind of place where the owner is manning the ship the whole time. Candace says, what's for dinner? Hopefully something good on a patio. I've certainly got the appetite to eat a lot. All I've had today was my morning smoothie, a little protein smoothie after my workout, and a bowl of Weetabix. And I guess you can add an iced latte to that. And 2 more coffees and a bunch of sparkling waters. Soul Fuel Fitness. Lisa says eating hot food in this heat ain't it. Hey, if I'm on a patio, I've got a nice cold beverage in front of me, I'll eat something hot. Not like a bowl of chige or anything like that, but if the food is hot, that's fine. Outpost coffee roasters across the street. Cold soba noodles, says Bat Doctor. In Korea, they have a dish called naengmyeon they like to eat when it's hot. Naengmyeon is delish. Katie Bird says burgers are always good in the summer. No arguments from me on that. I had a delicious turkey burger from Prohibition on Friday night. Hey, we're approaching one of the ugliest intersections in the city. Got the Giraffe building, the crossways, and what is hands down the ugliest building in all of the land, right here on the right. You might say, what's so ugly about that? Well, wait till I cross the street and we get a look at it. It is spectacularly ugly. Domino's 50% off all week long, pickup orders only. Aren't Mondays normally 50% off as well? All right, I said I was going to go to Dundas, but we got here a little quick, so we'll keep going towards Lansdowne. But just to the south of here is the Roncesvalles neighborhood. Roncesvalles. Dundas West Station just to the north where the King Street streetcar terminates, as well as the Dundas streetcar. We're going to get a look at this super ugly building in a moment. Are you ready? We got retail on the main floor. Now it's an office building.
Yeah.
Now it's an apartment building. I don't know how the hell that happened. Three very distinct different styles. Well, the retail podium could kind of mesh with either the apartment or the office, but just having a super ugly apartment building on top of a super ugly office building on top of a podium that is nothing special. That's a recipe for disgusting. Dave L says, wait, that's one building? It is, but you know what? I wouldn't trade it. It's the ugly duckling of Toronto architecture. But I wouldn't replace that with anything because I like it. I like being able to point out how ugly it is. It's got character. And it's right across the street from that. And these apartment buildings don't exactly have glowing reviews of the management. JM says no building shaming. Architects have feelings too. I'm pretty sure the person who made that building or designed it probably left it off their resume and out of their portfolio. I can't imagine them ever getting another job after that. So we're about to go underneath the rail tracks here and enter the Junction Triangle. Brutalism can go wrong. It can be pretty cool. I like the Hilton and Sheraton hotels on Queen Street. The contrast with all the ugly glass condos that have gone up around them, I think makes me appreciate some of those brutalist towers. The architect was drunk. Bertesh says, "What's for dinner?" I'd rather not say. I'll tell you guys after, but if I tell you where I'm going. I did that once and someone popped by. They're like, "Hey, I heard you said you were coming to this place on your stream, so I thought I'd come say hi to you." And, you know, if you recognize me, cool, come up and say hi, but if I'm not live, I'd rather not be in that situation. There's a rails to trails path, the West Toronto rail path right above. Do I also track my steps, asked Doug? I track my steps in general. My watch does all my fitness tracking. I try to hit 10,000 steps every day, but also it measures your total energy output, this exertion rating. I try to get that to 100% every day as well. You can see my sleep was 85. We're at 13,961. That was Saturday, 81 sleep. That was Friday. So I track that. And I also track, get out of there. And I'll show you the other thing I track. On my smart scale every day, I track my weight. I take a number 1 in the morning, so I'm up to 159. I was at 157 not too long ago. I've been trying to add some pounds. And all these things, body fat 15.5. That's gone up a little bit. That's a little concerning. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's not super accurate, but you use it relative to itself just to see the general trends. Lisa commenting on the art instead of on my numbers. There's some art for you. We are heading towards Lansdowne. Enough of you who point the camera at the wall. Dartar says Renfo Smart Scale. Yeah, I bought it not even knowing that it could track all that stuff. Doug says my BMI is pretty good. Yeah, BMI is a relatively good measure of how you're doing, unless you are really muscular, and then it's a horrible measure of how you're doing, because it can't distinguish muscle from body fat. But there's a reason why doctors still use it. Whippy Dude says I'm on the cusp of 160. Yeah, I should be there in a week. Greetings, Choppy. The goal is to get up to about 170, 175 and reevaluate.
I'm gonna see actually they said.
Drink some Ensure. That'll pack on the pounds. old school auto repair shops. I absolutely hate this development along Dundas. I think Christopher Hume in the Toronto Star made an article when this building went up. I remember reading it. He was just roasting the city for approving it. Yeah, it's much needed housing, but that is no way to front a major corridor like this. That should be retail on the ground level and apartments up top and behind. How not to build 101. Looks like a prison. Yeah, it's also ugly as hell too. Just a stupid, stupid fucking development for Bloor Street. There's a few on Queen Street East in Leslieville like that too. That really annoy me whenever I walk past them. Such a wasted opportunity. As you can see, it really sucks the life right out of the street. There was a study done in the annex not too long ago where they counted between 5 to 7 p.m. the number of bikes and micro-mobility users versus the number of vehicles, and they counted more people on bikes and micro-mobility devices than cars going by. Right at the time when traffic is supposed to be at its peak. So good job, Doug Ford. Each one of those people on a bike represented one less person contributing to vehicle congestion or transit congestion, or possibly sidewalk congestion, which isn't so bad. Carl Roth says he found out that coffee stabilizes body weight. I drank it because I like it. Does Dougie even look at those stats? No, he doesn't, because the province's own engineering reports indicated that, hey, the number of accidents is going to increase. And the positive effects on vehicle traffic is negligible in their own reports, but that goes against the narrative that cars good, bikes bad, so that just about explains car brain in a nutshell. Why should this lady have the right to ride her bike safely on the street? And there's 4 people at this red light. If you put each of those person in a car, they'd be lined up back to here. Cyclists make up half of the traffic, yet like a fifth of the use of the street. Their efficiency is superior. I remember recording in this spot. I crossed the street right here, and a car whipped around the corner and almost hit me. And I was like, holy shit. And then seconds later, there was an accident. 2 cars collided. A car turning right collided with a car going straight through the intersection, and I caught both on camera. And I made it a YouTube short. But yeah, that happened at this spot. But anyways, Lansdowne Station is just to the north. We got here again a little quicker. Let's take the stream to Dufferin. We'll get some more steps in. There's a decent breeze now. It's slightly cool. We got over 500 people watching. So we're gonna stream till Dufferin, which is the next subway stop. Uncle Sid's Deli. Ant-Man says cyclists don't pay road tax. That is just about the most ignorant comment you could make. I pay just as much towards this road as motorists do. It's the city that pays for them. Do they collect extra money from motorists to go towards civic roads? No, they do not. That's such an easily debunked argument. Also, roads aren't just for vehicles, they're also for everybody. Hence, everybody pays for them. But yeah, tell me you don't know anything about how anything works if you're going to tell me that cyclists don't pay for the roads. They don't pay for the highways entirely, but they do subsidize them. Come back to me when you have something smarter to say. There's the House of Lancaster Gentlemen's Club. Should we go there and have a lunch, have a sandwich? Open daily. You can get a bottle of Absolute vodka for 140 bucks. That'll cost you what, 30 bucks from the LCBO? But it doesn't come with that level of entertainment. Roads were made for pedestrians and streetcars before cars, and horse-drawn carriages before that. In fact, it was the auto lobby that made it so pedestrians couldn't cross on streets. Back when cars were first introduced, cars were still very much an afterthought on streets. If you look at videos from like the 1910s and 20s, people would be walking in the middle of the road, crossing streets. Cars would be having to work around them. And then they made it illegal. They introduced jaywalking laws. Those same auto companies that bought a lot of the transit networks and disabled them. Looking at you, Los Angeles. Krista says wings on you. Yeah, municipal roads are not paid for by drivers. They're paid for by everybody. Bana Aroma, where coffee's story begins. That's kind of awkwardly worded. Where coffee's story begins. Gotta run that one through a grammar checker. Lisa keeps saying things which YouTube doesn't want to share. Where the story of coffee begins was too expensive, says Poop. Oh, I've been to this bar on the right before. And that one across the street. The Burdock. I went to Burdock during a festival, and I think this is called 3 Speed on the left. Some hipster bars. All right, we're gonna... Oh, Bloor Collegiate Institute. There's a sneak peek at the new building. Yeah, there's a massive redevelopment just on the right here. And you could hang a right at Dufferin and head down to Dufferin Mall. There's the African Delight Cafe and Restaurant. So we're just a few blocks from Dufferin. I'm gonna pop into Dufferin Station. Greetings, ET06. Super Wonder Gallery. Mojo says I'm in your area. Yeah, Dufferin Racetrack used to be to the right. Toronto used to have a lot of horse racetracks. The most famous one was at Greenwood. That was one of the most urban racetracks in the world, and I think it was in North America. That one closed down in the 90s, and the harness track was relocated to Woodbine. This kind of gives me New Mervish Village vibes. Looks somewhat similar to what's going on at Bathurst and Bloor. Yeah, there used to be a horse race track just south of here. There was one at Thorncliffe Park. I think there was one on Bathurst. Whippy Dude says Greenwood was the original Woodbine. Yeah, I think Greenwood opened first, but Woodbine was a thoroughbred racetrack. Greenwood was harness. And Woodbine had the turf track and the dirt track. Then they added a third track for harness racing when Greenwood closed. Harness racing, I think, tends to go year-round. There's also Mohawk and Flamborough out west. There's a racetrack just as you get to Barrie, one that I think it relocated. My dad used to take me to the horses a lot as a kid. I'm all for it as long as the horsies are ethically cared for. The big issue is after their race career, when they're no longer making money, then the standard of care and the kind of stables they get tends to decline. Same thing with greyhound dogs after their racing careers. Well, I think the dogs have it much worse than the horses. We're just gonna walk in front of the station here. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We're going to wrap this one up. I want to thank our mods, Patreon supporters, channel members, and everyone else, everyone who sent support. You guys were awesome. We got a lot of good supers. We had some David Ace donated some channel memberships. Again, sorry it was not in 4K, but the good news is I learned I can stream like this in 1080-60, and the battery will last a really, really long-ass time. So in hot weather, I might have a new preferred setup. We'll be back with a video tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. EST, so I'll be premiering, so stay tuned for that. There'll be no outro on this. I'm not using my streaming server, but thank you, Megan, Doug, Marie, Palmer, John, Mojo, Harjot, Billy T, Jeanette, happy belated birthday again, Medano, and the rest of the mods. I saw Vivian, Sheena, Marge, Vasily, and Yogi. But we're gonna sign off. I'm gonna pop into the subway. So thank you so much, guys. Yoink.